Hi, thank you for getting this far. Now there is one little thing you've got to do as well. Keep an eye out for an email, and when you click on subscribe on the email, it will get you to the webinar. I'm sorry, but this is a two-step process for security. Otherwise, automated robots find their way in and to the websites, and it's also for your security. So that won't take very long. Keep an eye out for that. But while you're here, I'd like to talk to you about a concept that I use within the nervous system renovation project, and it's called reset. Now, reset is like the first aid aspect of this. We have the first aid to keep you going, then we work more on the chronic issues that are really holding you back. But a simple thing you can do in the first aid, in the reset, is to breathe. Okay, you're thinking, did I come all this way to be told to breathe? Well, I'm going to be talking about several aspects of breathing, and one of the important things about this is it's the one thing in our whole autonomic nervous system that we can control. How we breathe dictates how we move, but it dictates how our brain functions and how we feel. Typically, when we're feeling anxious, we either don't breathe enough, we do upper chest rapid breathing, or we do just hold our breath and don't breathe enough. Sometimes we do this even if we're trying to focus on a task. But there's a simple technique within breathing, and this one comes out of Russian Sistema, which is an interesting martial art, and it's basically breathe in and breathe out. Again, you're thinking, this is all too easy. The idea is you keep a cycle of this. Now, what this does is regulates your brain, the amygdala. It regulates your body. If you are in the middle of a very anxious situation and you take your attention to your breath, and you could be walking down the street, you could be going in for an interview, you could be walking on stage to speak to someone or about to have a confrontation with someone, sitting an exam, going for a driver's test, it doesn't matter. If you just breathe around and around. Now, as you expand this process, and you can do this with exercise, do some exercise that is fairly vigorous, but keep breathing in the same way. And you'll find you can regulate that you don't hyperventilate, that you don't find yourself huffing and puffing and finding it hard to recover. You can just move effectively, physically or mentally, and breathe. One other concept I want to introduce you to, and I go into this in depth in the renovation project, is the gap. The gap is the space between stimulus and response, or event and upset. Somebody says something to you, and it's that small amount of time it takes you to react. Now, what we want to do is we want to just space that out a little bit, so that if somebody says, "You're a terrible person," instead of immediately cringing inside and feeling anxious, or just resisting and fighting back, there's just that moment. And in that moment, you break the pattern of anxiety. In that moment, you relax, you breathe. And you might just say something like, well, that's interesting. But it's none of my business. Who knows what you'll say? But all you need is to pry open that gap. And we have a number of strategies that we put in there in the reset process, such as breathing and a number of others. But in the renovation project, what we're looking at is taking a step back, big picture, and helping your nervous system to recover sufficiently that you can manage those moments in our lives. That we don't just suddenly react and feel tension in our bodies and feel stress or hurt, or just start firing back and saying things that we later regret. this is the core of the process. So keep an eye out for the email. Just click on the link to acknowledge that it's there, and you will then be taken immediately to the webinar and have a listen to that. Now I've made it that you can stop that video at any time. If you want to think about it, come back to it, and use the free strategies that you get in there. Thank you. I'm Ian Newton, and I look forward to perhaps having a chat with you at some stage to discuss how you can move from anxiety to freedom. Thank you.